Hello everyone, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. Today the weather is glorious in southeast Louisiana. It is only 82 degrees at 10 o'clock. Like, I am hopping and skipping with excitement, which is why today I'm going to go ahead and get my first planting of shallots and corn into the soil. Now, it's not my first planting of corn. This will be like the 5th planting, but I'm hoping that our first frost will be so far back that I'll be able to harvest this last succession planting of corn. And if I can't, if you watch any of my other videos, you know that I'm gonna go ahead and turn that into pelleted feed for my rabbits and chickens anyway. So I need the corn stalk. So I might as well go ahead and plant it. You know, it's mid-August. I've got like probably 2, maybe 3 months before the frost hits. So I've got a pretty good time here. Now with the shallots are in the allume family, which is onions and garlics, chives, that kind of stuff. And they really help keep pests away from your plants, which is why I'm going to companion plant them with my corn. Because the later in the season you plant corn, the more likelihood that you're going to get a pest attack, especially here in zone 9A9. Here are some reasons that you may want to plant shallots versus onions. Okay, if you plant one onion bulb, or one seed start, you're going to get 1 onion. When you plant shallots, did you guys know that you get 8 to 12 more shallots? Talk about multiplication, right? And that's what it's about this year. This year, my market garden is not near as intensely grown as it will be, say, next year. What I'm doing this year are several different groupings of plants together to see which groups work well. Where can I plant root crops with tall plants? What can I companion plant? How can I do it? So I'm going to show you guys the bed I was working on earlier. Most of you know I am no-till, heavy mulch, but I am on extremely hard red clay. This is our 2nd year gardening on this clay, and I'm going to show you, I did use a drill, with a bit on the end to punch a hole. And actually, I haven't told my husband yet, so nobody call and tell him. The drill sort of smoking. It's probably not a good thing. So, got my handy dandy spade, and I'm gonna have to do it by hand now. But I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna show you real quick what the bed is starting to look like. So here you can see all the holes that I punched, right? Now I'm gonna fill these holes up with, you ready? Worm castings, compost I make here in the chicken coop, rabbit manure, and a combination of horse manure. I think my dog has a snake. So here are the shallots that I bought. I bought right at a pound, which I'm now realizing was a lot. So it looks like I will be succession planting shallots for a couple of weeks. Now let me show you guys how you're supposed to put these in the soil. I looked up our state agricultural college's recommendations, and they recommended that this entire thing go in the ground like that, up with 1 inch, right? You just totally cover it up with 1 inch of soil. Well, I did some research. What I'm finding is you should plant it and leave like that much of it visible. Okay, so I'm gonna try it both ways because I've never planted shallots. Also on the Louisiana Agricultural College, LSU site, the only thing they talk about for fertilization, of course, is 13 or 888 or any of that other stuff. So I'm having to kind of guesstimate, what to do to fertilize it, but I'm gonna fertilize it like I fertilize everything else in my garden. Rabbit manure and worm castings along with rabbit urine will help to balance the pH in your soil. So it doesn't matter if my pH is too high or too low for shallots. The worm castings, rabbit manure, all of that is going to balance my pH for me, which means I can use it to grow anything and I don't have to be picky about what I plant with that combination. Shallots are more powerful than any other plant in the allume family. It is so full of antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties that it has been proven to help fight the flu, cold sores. It's so good, guys, that it can actually help unclog your arteries and to help your heart muscle kind of regenerate itself. So it's an amazing plant. It is literally almost double in nutrients and micronutrients than onions. Most people don't use shallots because they have a sweeter taste and it's a more mild taste. It's a bit of a combination of an onion and a garlic. In fact, when you open a shallot, it's designed like garlic but tastes like onion. Crazy. But I think that maybe this year you could plant some, because as I make my herbal remedies that I put up, you know, in late summer for fall and winter, in the spring I'll be making them and setting them up for next fall, and I'll be using shallots versus onions this year, because now that I've learned all this about the shallot, I was really impressed with that very tiny little bulb, and I really like the fact that I plant one and I could possibly end up with 12. Now when you're planting them, make sure that you're giving these guys adequate space to grow, because unlike an onion, you plant one, you get one. It's not going to work like that. So you definitely want to make sure you're giving at least 8 inches between each shallot that you're planting, so that little bitty shallot can give you the full 12 that you deserve. God bless you. May everything that your hands touch be multiplied. Now, something else. When I said I'm going to companion plant with the corn, I'm going to put the shallots all through the holes that you saw, and on both ends lengthwise of the bed, I will plant tightly packed corn. Now, I do understand that that means that as the corn grows, it will shade that area. But let's be realistic. This is South Louisiana, and it's going to be extremely hot until the end of September. So to give my plants a little bit of a break from the extreme heat, because what I'm learning are things like in the allium family, they like it a little cooler, right? 110 might be a bit much for a shallot to really be able to sink its roots in. So I'm hoping that the corn will provide a little bit of shade, but still allow them to grow. I might be screwing up. Who knows? Like I tell you guys, I'm always experimenting now, because my goal is next year to be able to take on 20 full CSA members to our membership, as well as feed my family and all the livestock on my property, all from what I can grow in this 1/4 acre no-till market garden. And do I think I better do it? Yeah, I do. Especially seeing how well our garden did in this extreme heat here that we had this year in Louisiana. Now, tomatoes again struggle, but like I keep telling you guys, my soil is compacted red clay. It may be another year or two before I can get a bumper crop of things like tomatoes out of the ground, because tomatoes are jerks. I mean, like, they're such a ninny of a vegetable. Anything will wipe the whole plant out. So my soil needs a lot of work before I can finally hit that point where my tomatoes are going to take off. Because unlike some people who do market gardens, even when they do no-till, I'm not putting down a bed of 6, 7, 8 inches of compost on top of the soil and then planting into that. Like, to me, that is a waste of money. I don't need that much compost. The only area that I worry about amending with any kind of amendment is the hole I'm actually planting in. And then I side dress around the plant. That saves me money. It saves me time. And as I move my beds around, as I plant here this season, plant there next season, before long, the entire garden has been amended. And the reason I say you don't need to amend everything at one time, it works like this. As my soil health increases in one section of my bed, the microbes spread out. As long as I keep those areas heavily mulched and planted with something, even if I just let the weeds take it back over, or I throw cover crop out, as long as there are roots in the soil, my soil is going to continue to amend itself and become healthier than it was the season before. I just see people like, we're overusing products. Like, your entire 1/4 acre doesn't need to be 8 inches in compost or rabbit manure or horse manure or whatever. Or, you know, you don't need to have 3-foot beds and then a 1-foot walkway, 3-foot bed, 1-foot walkway. You're using that much. You just simply, you don't need that much. You don't. Once you wake your dirt up, you get the microbes moving in the dirt. The worms come back. The soil is covered. There are roots in the soil. guys, it's going to be able to amend itself, and you're going to unlock all those nutrients that are bound up in your soil. So God bless you. Thank you so much for rowing in my boat, letting me row in yours. I've got a bunch of stuff I've got to finish, and then I've got church tonight, so I've got to run. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know. Are you going to plant shallots, or are you going to plant onions?